Welcome back to the Dirt Crowd. On this week's episode, in our On the Line segment, we'll have interviews with both Levi Ballard and Jett Nunley, as well as in our Behind the Wheel segment, an in-depth interview with Emilio Hoover. We also take in some audio and video from a practice we recently went to out at Creek County, which featured Emilio and his new teammate, Holly Russell from New Zealand. All right, next up on our On the Line segment, we've got Dirt Crowd driver Levi Ballard. Levi, how are you doing today?
Good, how are you?
We're doing good, we're doing good. Obviously not probably as good as you did Friday night. You put it on them over at Port City Friday night in the restrictor class. Tell us a little bit about that night for you and how it went. I know you obviously you won the heat, won the feature, and we call that a sweep here with us. So kind of walk us through the night a little bit, kind of tell us a little bit about how the heat race went, and then we'll follow up with the feature after that.
Yeah, we were really fast every time we hit the track. In hot laps, we were quick time by 3.5 tenths, and then in the heat, we were able to go 6-1.
All right, fantastic. Yeah, I know that, you know, I didn't even mention qualifying, but obviously that's even more of a sweep. You got all three, so that's fantastic. So I know you mentioned that was you had a pill draw and a dice roll to start the feature. Where did that start you for the feature, and kind of walk us through that, how that race kind of fell out and you were able to take control of that. So walk us through the A feature a little bit.
Yeah, they had to pill for the invert for the feature, and they ended up pilling in 4, so that meant I had to start 4th, and the kid on the outside row got a good start, and I was able to follow him through, and I got to 2nd, and then like 3 laps in, I set him up and got under him and led from there.
Yeah, that allows you to kind of set the pace and run the race that you want. How was the track when you went out for feature time? Was it a little bit wider, a little bit slicker? I mean, how was it compared to qualifying in your heat race?
It was quite a bit slicker. You had to just get off the berm, blend that right rear, and there was like a kind of a line right through the middle of the track, and it was still there. That's where I ran the heat race, and it was still there in the heat feature. So.
Yeah, you know, there's a lot of for the younger kids that don't. And I know you're super young to be doing what you're doing, but for a lot of these younger kids that are listening to you, you know, a lot of them don't realize that the track conditions change. You got to stay up with that. So, you know, for you to be able to spot that out and know when the car going out what you kind of want to look for, but it can change while you're out there. You know, there's a lot to driving the car other than just punching the throttle and turning left. So we love to hear, you know, you as far as evaluating how the track's going and where that puts you and kind of what that allows you to do with the car. You know, you mentioned the berm, and I know we've talked about it before. You know, you being able to get that left front up there on the berm and plant the right rear, it kind of lets you, it's almost a little bit of a cheat code and allows you to get a little bit more traction and a little bit more horsepower on exit. So I know that you taking the lead as early as you did allowed you to kind of set the pace and run your own race. I know the week before we got out there and did the same thing. I know you got passed late there at Port the weekend before, but sometimes you're out there out front and you're a sitting duck, right? I mean, you don't have the ability to be moving around and like sometimes the guys do in 2nd and 3rd, but I know for you this year it's probably pretty much been you're running the top 3 almost every night. So super proud of you there. Just love what you're doing in the car and outside the car. We love having you on the Dirt Crowd platform. So just wanted to tell you congratulations and thought you did a fantastic job on Friday. I know we also mentioned the month of May is coming up for you, and as your dad calls it, mayhem is set for you as far as your schedule. I know this weekend coming up we got Sweet Springs. I tend to think that's probably a good track for you, and you probably like it at Sweet Springs. Tell us a little bit about Sweet Springs and how that fits your driving style, if that's one of your favorite tracks, if you kind of like it and what you're looking forward to going into the weekend.
Yeah, I like Sweet Springs. It's a fun track because they're in the feature. I raced there last year, and there was a good high line in the feature, and I went I think 4-1 in the feature my first time there.
All right. Well, you definitely love it then. If your first time there, you got to win. It's hard not to like it, right? And I know the rest of the month's super busy for you. I know you're going to be going over to Macon. You'll be coming back to Port. How's Macon for you? Have you raced there before, and do you like it?
Yeah, Macon's a very fun track. It has tires on the bottom, and I ran there last year for the KKM non-wing, and I think I ended up 6th from like 9th, and it was just all on the top. Everyone was just ripping the top.
Yeah, everybody seems to like Macon for that reason, like you said. So, speaking of ripping, that's what you've been doing so far this season. I know you're still currently leading the now 600 points, and just seem to be stretching your lead out. And every time we look up, you're on the podium, if not in victory lane. So super proud of you there. Wish you nothing but the best of luck. We love having you come on with us, and obviously we'll continue to do this with you. And I'm pretty sure we're going to have a few more victory lane photos with you, and some more on the line calls because you're having so much success. So with that being said, if you would please go ahead and mention all the guys you got behind you as far as sponsors and partners. I know you got a really good list and a strong field of sponsors. If you would go ahead and take a chance and run them down for us.
My mom, my dad, Factory 14, Shad Boat, K1 Race Gear, Kaiser Racing Wheels, and Ballard Products.
All right, we love it, Levi. We appreciate it as always having you on. You're doing a great job for us on DirtCrowd. We love having you, and hopefully we're drawing more attention to you and your racing program, and looking forward to the future with you and what all's to come. Nothing but big things. So again, thanks for taking the time. We appreciate having you on, and I'm sure if we don't see you in Sweet Springs, we'll talk to you again really, really soon.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
You bet, Levi. We appreciate it. Thank you, and we'll talk to you soon again. So, again, everybody, that was DirtCrowd driver Levi Ballard we had on the line after his dominating performance at Port City last week on Friday night. Levi's doing a fantastic job, and just seems to be really consistent with speed and always in the top 3, if not in victory lane. So, super proud of him, and for all of you out there that if you've been under a rock and don't know who Levi Ballard is, you definitely need to look him up, look up his results. A great kid with a great team, and he's got a super bright future. So with that being said, we're going to take a little break here and have a spot from one of our sponsors, and we'll be back soon. We want to give a shout out to our friends over at Factory 14 for being a DirtCrowd partner. Holly, Harley, Billy, and the entire crew over there do such a great job, and we really appreciate them coming on board with us. Factory 14, quality products, proven performance, and unmatched service come together under one roof. Factory 14 offers everything for junior sprints to sprint cars, and with professional trackside support across the country, you are never alone when you're part of the Factory 14 team. One team, one standard, always successful. Factory 14, excellence in every detail. All right, next up we've got our On the Line segment, which usually features some video along with the audio, but this is just going to be a audio-only call, and we've got DirtCrowd driver Jett Nunley on the line. Jett, how you doing this evening?
Good.
Good. I appreciate you taking the time, spending it with us here on DirtCrowd. We wanted to touch base with you. I know Friday night over at Port City, you put a whooping on them. I know you won both features in the A class and the non-wing, so if we can, let's start with the non-wing. Talk to us a little bit about qualifying, your heat race, and how the feature went for you in the non-wing car there.
Yeah. Hot laps, they were pretty good. Just the track was a little marbly, so we didn't get much information from there. And heat race, I think I started 7th and I finished 2nd. And in the feature, I was pretty confident after the A class, and I was just trying to be as smooth as I could, and then had Frank Flood come up on me and showed a different line. And I held my line. I had him just about the same speed as he did. And he started pulling away. We had a couple cautions. And so I decided to change my line. And I got faster, and I got the lead. And then we had a restart and Frank flipped, and I just held it on from there.
Yeah, that's I love when you talk about how the race kind of plays out and what you're looking at. I know we've said it before. We had Cashla come on last weekend, and when the 81 goes down there and shows you a nose or shows you another line, it's easy to upset a lot of drivers or kind of get flustered and get in your head. But obviously, with you being patient and being as experienced as you are, knowing that you got to be able to move around on the track, and that takes a good car and a good driver to be able to do that. And obviously, you did a fantastic job and held on for the win there. You mentioned the A-Class car, so for our listeners out there and viewers that don't know, on a night when you're running both cars, how is that as a driver? Do you change your driving style according to if you're in the wing car or the non-wing car? Is it a different feel? Do you have to, kind of give our viewers a kind of behind-the-scenes look as a driver? How do you have to drive those cars differently between the wing car and the non-wing car? I know they're different cars. You're not just taking the wing off one and hopping in it, but I know your dad and Billy and everybody over there at Factory 14 do a good job of putting you in a good piece. But give our listeners and viewers a kind of a little bit of feedback what it's like driving two different cars on the same night.
Yeah, it's pretty different from A-Class and non-wing. Non-wing, after you take the wing off A-Class, you kind of got to drive it sideways and get it straight as you can on exit so you can make the straightaway long. And A-Class, it's way easier. You can drive the car straighter through the corner and harder.
Yeah, see, and that's the stuff that I love when you mention, because people that even that have been there for years that have watched all those classes run, a lot of them don't even know the difference. So hearing it from a driver with your experience and your level of talent, it helps a lot, and I appreciate you doing that. So, okay, we also mentioned then, obviously we already know that you won in A-Class as well, but go through us for the night in the A-Class car as far as hot laps, qualifying, heat race, and then what you had to do in the feature there to get that win as well.
Yeah, hot laps, I didn't get the hot lap. I went into staging, and I killed my car, and it wouldn't fire back up, so we tried to push start it, and it wouldn't start at all, so we didn't get to hot lap. And we had to change a part on the motor. And then heat race, I started 8th, and I got 2nd.
Wow.
And then started 4th on the feature, and got to 3rd pretty fast. And the leaders started racing, and they moved up off the bottom, and I was just slow rolling the bottom, and they got up on the top, throwing sliders on each other, and I just rolled around the bottom right by them. Yeah,
sometimes you got to slow down to go fast. I know that doesn't make sense to some of them out there, but it is the truth. Sometimes you kind of just let me roll down here and leave me alone, and you guys do your deal up there, and I'll take it all the way to the checkered. So I didn't know that. I'm glad you threw that in about having some problems in staging and obviously having to change some parts on the motor, because a lot of people would get frustrated in that situation and want to throw in the towel or kind of be upset. But it's good to hear that not everything goes perfect on some nights, even when you still win. So it's not all bad to understand you're going to have some issues pop up. You just got to kind of stick to your guns and do what you can, and to see that you persevered after that, that's pretty cool to hear. So again, we want to congratulate you on pretty much putting on a clinic for both the non-wing and the A-Class car there at Port City on Friday night. So congratulations on those. I know both cars looked really, really fast. Looked like you've found a little bit of speed in each one of them, so that's probably not real good news for the competition. Speaking of which, I know you're currently still, I believe, leading both the wing and non-wing classes of now 600, and you've got that next up on your schedule, I believe. I think you guys are headed to Sweet Springs this weekend, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and I know we've discussed before, I don't think you've had current lap experience in the A-Class or the non-wing car going into Sweet Springs. How Sweet Springs differ from some tracks? I mean, compared to Port City, what's the layout for somebody that hadn't been there? What's kind of the difference between, say, Sweet Springs and Port City?
Sweet Springs, I think it's pretty much almost like I-44 with less banking, and it's got a berm on the bottom, pretty much like the shootout.
Okay.
It's steeper.
Okay. Well, and obviously I-44 is, we've been there a couple times already this season. We know it's been super fast, and you guys have been there and done really well. So that should translate pretty good for you this weekend at Sweet Springs. And then after that, I believe you got Macon, and then back to Port City. I know the month of May is super, super busy. So, obviously we'll be following along and wish you nothing but the best of the luck. And we'll touch base with you again, and obviously probably see you a weekend or two. I was joking with Dad earlier. If what we got to do for you to win both classes is me not show up and stay in Florida, I guess I'll just have to keep calling in to check on you, because whatever we did this past weekend worked. So, but in saying that, I know you got a busy month ahead. We're looking forward to that. But go ahead and give us a rundown of the current sponsors and partners you got, and we'll wrap it up with you.
Yeah, I want to thank Factory 14, Harley Holland Companies, Metric Cycles, Angler Machine and Tools, Micron Tom, DirtCrowd, Diamond D Trucking, CSI, Angler, Kaiser Wheels, Daryl's Appliance and Furniture, Ballard Inc., GFL Transfer Station, Tulsa.
All right. Well, we appreciate it. I know they're all super proud to be part of Jett Nunley Racing, and obviously us here at DirtCrowd are as well. So wish you nothing but the best of luck. We'll keep up with what's going on and probably touch base with you again here shortly. But thank you for taking the time with us, Jett, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
All right. That was Jett Nunley on the line there with us for that segment. Obviously, currently he's leading the now 600 points in both the wing and non-wing classes. So super excited to have him on board with DirtCrowd, and always good to check in with Jett. So appreciate you taking the time, and that'll be a wrap up for On the Line segment. And we'll take a little break here with one of our sponsors and be back real quick. We want to thank our friends over at Smith Tire for becoming a partner of DirtCrowd. Stevie and his group do a fantastic job, and we really appreciate them coming on board with us. Smith Tie offers high-quality, American-made titanium products for all racers. From micros, midgets, sprint cars, and more, quality products made by racers for racers. Smith Tie offers aerospace-grade fasteners to complete car kits. Check them out at smithtie.com. Smith Titanium, we winnovate. Next up, in our Behind the Wheel segment, we got a DirtCrowd driver, Emilio Hoover. All right, we're here with DirtCrowd team driver, Emilio Hoover. Emilio, how are you doing today?
Doing all right. How are you?
Good, good. Good to have you in here. I know we had you in a couple of days ago to do your headshots and your photo shoot, and I know you love that. Your hair looked great and everything was good, right? So I want to sit down and follow up with you. You tell us a little bit more about Emilio Hoover, the race car driver, kind of how you got started, what you were racing early on. So let's start at the very beginning. About what age were you, and what did you start driving?
When I was 8, for my dad's birthday, he'd been asking me to drive something for forever. But we'd had a quarter midget in the garage when I was way too young. He started up one day, and I was like, I don't know, 3 or 4, and it was so terrifying. It was loud, it shook, and I hated it. And I didn't want nothing to do with him. But as his birthday when I was 8, and he said, man, just for my birthday, will you get in it and try it out? And I've never looked back. I mean, that first left turn, it was like nothing I'd ever felt before. It was incredible.
That's a great story. I love that. I love that. So there's a little pressure from Dad, right?
Yeah,
that got you going? Okay, good. So from there, where did we go? I mean, I interrupted you there, but I know you hopped in and loved it. And so were we off firing over at the quarter midget track here in Tulsa, or was that kind of where we started?
Yep, those noon races that were always so much fun in the summer. That only lasted a few months. Dad wanted to get on dirt really quick, so we raced quarter midgets on dirt for a little while, and then we got into junior sprints pretty quick for a couple years into restricted and micros out at Port City.
I see a pattern here. It seems like Dad's the one pressuring you to do it, all right?
And I'm just here to have fun. He's the one that wants us to move forward.
Okay, so how was that transition for you? I know it's been a while, but let's think back when you were that young. When you were on pavement and then Dad convinced you to get over in the dirt, was that an easy transition for you? I mean, was it something you enjoyed the dirt more than the pavement, or did you have to get
those
used to it,
cars are so slow. It really didn't matter what we were racing on. You know, you're going 5 miles an hour, you could be racing on sand, it wouldn't matter.
Right.
No, I was still, just a little kid. Didn't feel anything. I just I got out there and I turned left with the gas on.
Okay. So then we jump up to junior sprints, right?
Mm-hmm.
And how was that? I mean, so you probably start noticing a little bit different. You're running with a wing on top, and I'm sure Dad got you going in that direction real quick too. So how was that? How long did you race those junior sprints? And I assume that was at Port City?
Yeah, Port City and then the shootout. We didn't travel much with them, of course. That was not too different. That's where you start being able to break the car loose just that little bit, because they weigh more too. So when you throw it in the corner, they, more than a quarter midget, so they can break loose with them little tires. So you start noticing stuff like, oh, I'm sliding, or I can slide here. Or I need to keep that down. I need to keep my wheel spin down, stuff like that. You have to start thinking about that.
Right. Okay, so we run that for what, season 2 maybe?
Oh, I want to say 2 years. He told me 2 years.
Okay, and then we go up to restrictors, right? So now we're going to an actual full-size micro sprint. How was that transition? About the same, just a little bit more power?
Oh, that's when it starts to feel like a real race car. That's when you set it in and you really are. You break it loose and you're sliding through the corner. You feel it load up the right rear, stuff like that. I remember we did win our first heat race. It was really nice. Just first time in anything with real horsepower, 3-digit horsepower, which was great.
Right. So. And you're jumping up in competition too, right? I mean, the farther we go up, I mean, I know the competition, don't get me wrong, is tough at the younger age groups, but you start seeing more cars and a more competitive field, and the restrictor you're probably getting in at an early enough age. There's some kids a little bit older than you, have a little bit more experience, so that's a little bit of a learning curve there too. But I know you carry that on into the regular, what we call non-wing or A-class micros. How long did you race those?
Those we ended up racing A-class very little compared to everything else. We got in the midget super quick, probably just for like a year or so.
Right. And I kind of remember that, right? I remember seeing you kind of in maybe the A-class or the non-wing, stock motor micro stuff, and then next thing I know, you're in a midget. So, and I know you love the midgets. I know you've got a lot of experience in that. So walk us through that, your midget racing career, how that started, how long you did that. I know most of the time you've been racing for your dad's team, but I know maybe you hopped in another car or two, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, we got our own midget. We raced that for probably 3 or 4 years. Till maybe it was only a couple of years. I think like 3 years. We raced on our own for a long time. We just didn't find a lot of success. It's such a different thing compared to anything. A midget is so different from any other car that anybody makes. We ended up, when I was about 16, I think when I was 16, we ended up going to race for Flea Ruzic. We raced that till I want to say 3 years with him, Chili Bowl and everything, and that's where we really started to find some success. And then he retired. His mom went through some medical stuff.
Right.
So we raced for Pat Odell. We stopped racing. That's when we really got into the sprint car stuff. Through that, we hit a couple sprint car races here and there, but not mainly. And that's when he sort of retired. That's when we moved over to the sprint cars full time.
I gotcha. I know you mentioned Flea there. Flea's a great guy. He's been a friend of mine for a long time, and he's got a big presence, especially in midget racing, but in open wheel racing as a whole. So I love hearing that you had some experience with him. And did you actually go up there one summer and work a little bit with him? Or?
Yeah, my summer after my freshman year in high school, I think it would have been after the first year we raced with him. Yeah, after that first full season, that next summer, I went up for about a month and a half, and I worked in his shop, in his machine shop, and the race shop.
I bet you got some pretty good stories from that, don't you?
Just a lot of metal cutting, a lot of bitch work.
We'll keep it at that. Right? We'll keep it at that. So then we obviously progressed to where you are now, which is in the sprint car world, which we all love. But when you first jumped up, I'm assuming you went to the 2-barrel 305 stuff. Is that the first sprint car stuff you actually jumped up in?
Yeah, my very first sprint car race was out at Creek County in their 2-barrel class, and that was a lot of fun. And then my next one after that was with OCRS, straight into the deep end, back when they were still running the little wings.
Right.
That was, man, that was a tough night. But pretty much after that, that's most of the sprint car stuff we've run since then, is the 2-barrels with OCRS and then out at Creek.
And so how long have you been doing that now? A couple years, few years?
I'd say this is probably our 4th year doing that full time.
Okay.
Doing that full time.
Okay. And so I know just this past weekend, for example, you hopped in and ran with ASCS and had a real good showing. Is that something you're going to continue to dabble in, is the 360 stuff, and focus more on the OCRS, or is that kind of the plan?
Yeah, we're running OCRS for points this year, and I don't know when I ever plan to change that. We'll see just how the ASCS stuff does, but we just hit the ASCS shows and maybe like an outlaw show when they come to
Yeah.
the short tracks,
That's what
like
you're
Creek
talking-
or
I like that.
places like that.
I like that. So you mentioned that you're going to run for points for OCRS. Where are you currently standing in points for OCRS?
We haven't started. I guess by rollover from last year, I'm still in the lead because I'm the last champion, but we haven't had our first race yet. That's this week. Our big race got rained out last week.
So we're trying to go back to back, right?
Yeah,
All
yes.
right, all right. So I know you mentioned, obviously, you said you hopped in the 360 there a time or two. I know, congratulations, by the way. I know you're getting ready to graduate from the University of Tulsa. Tell us a little bit about that, maybe your degree and kind of what your future looks like on that side.
Yeah, I'm graduating with a degree in mechanical engineering from the University of Tulsa. I'm going to get a job somewhere. I've been going to school for 17 years. It's time to do something different. I don't know. I don't like to think about it too much because then that's when I really start thinking, man, is it going to impact racing? And I kind of got to grow up for real.
Right.
Till now, it's all been happy playtime.
Well, sure. And that was my next question. I mean, kind of growing into having an actual career now, how will that affect your racing? I know you really probably don't want to think about it, but I mean, is that going to affect, obviously we're going to run this season for OCRS points, but looking forward a little bit, does that mean less seat time possibly? Does it mean picking a few races here and there for two barrel and for 360 and 410? Or I know it's hard to answer, but what's that kind of look like for you at this point?
I mean, it means probably we won't be able to just truck to some track 7 hours away on a Friday anymore. You know, time off can be hard to get, especially, just starting out. Weekly shows probably won't change. I mean, it's right here. Saturday is easy to get a hold of. But yeah, probably won't be traveling anywhere near as much as we would have in the past for a race because missing school is one thing, but missing dollars on a paycheck is another.
Oh, without a doubt. I got a pretty good idea. You'll check the schedule and kind of figure out what Fridays you may have to call in sick.
Yeah, right.
So in saying that, I know you've, yeah, exactly. I know your dad James has been a huge part of your racing career. He's been in the local racing scene forever.
He's only ever missed one race. He was
That's it?
He was down working a hurricane that had hit. So we do mitigation on like any sort of disaster mitigation. We rebuild houses. He was down in Louisiana, I think. He missed a race out at Lucas Oil with the 360. It's the only one he's ever missed.
Well, we can't hold that against
Yeah,
him,
right.
But in saying that, I know your dad James has been huge in the local racing community. He helps out a lot of people, sponsors a lot of cars and series, and we're really thankful for him and love having you on board with DirtCrowd. I think it's going to be super exciting for people to kind of get an idea to meet Emilio behind the helmet and kind of what you're about. And if you would, go ahead and mention some of your sponsors. Let us know who's helping support Emilio Hoover Racing and kind of give us a little background on that.
Yeah, well, my dad is PuroClean. That's the big name on the car. That's the one. That's our biggest sponsor, I think, pretty obviously. But then we've got Tim Woodard with Eclipse Claims, public adjuster that we met when we were racing for Flea. Just a great guy that helps us out a little bit where he can, how he can. And then Realty Connect is Tina Berryhill, and it's her realty company. She helps out usually at the start of the season.
Well, and they're both great companies and great people to be associated with. Obviously, we see them on multiple cars, and I'm sure they're super proud to be on the side of your car and what you guys represent. I know this weekend coming up, weather permitting, we've got an OCRS race in Muskogee. I think you're going to have some teammates with you for that race as well. Do you kind of want to mention who that may be?
Yeah, we raced with Kaylee Bryson and Dylan Pendergrass. Kaylee Bryson, I think probably anyone who watches this is going to know who she is, but Dylan Pendergrass is a guy out from Lawton. He races out there weekly, and their non-wing stuff mostly. I don't know how much wing experience he has other than with us, but yeah, both great teammates I look forward to racing with.
All right. Well, we appreciate you taking the time, Emilio, and super proud to have you on DirtCrowd, and looking forward to great things for you, and congratulations again on your career and having to get a real job.
Yeah, right.
And hopefully we'll have you on back soon again. So appreciate you having on, and good luck this weekend.
Thank you very much.
Next up, we popped out to a practice session at Creek County Speedway this week to watch DirtCrowd drivers Emilio Hoover and his new teammate, DirtCrowd driver Holly Russell from New Zealand, get some laps in before this weekend at Creek County. So here we are. Let's take a look at some footage. We're here with DirtCrowd driver Holly Russell. Holly, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. So we got to see you go 3 sets at practice out here at Creek County. How was that for you in the car? How'd it feel?
Yeah, it was good. A lot to take in on my first run here in America, but car was good, and I think it's just working out the track and kind of what it does over time during the night. But yeah, I think coming into this Saturday, yeah, we should have a good run.
Yeah, I you know, after us being here and watching all 3 sessions, obviously you got faster each time, just getting familiar with the car and the track. Good news is we're practicing out here at Creek County, and that's where you're going to get to race Saturday. So I think that'll help the comfort level. But all in all, I thought you did a really good job. So looking forward to it on Saturday. Anything different that you notice a lot about this car than what you're used to running?
The speed. So back in Australia, I ran an LS, and then obviously this is a little bit faster over here. So I think it was more the speed, and I guess just the track as well. You know, turn 3 and 4 is completely different to 1 and 2. So yeah, I guess it's just adjusting every single lap and progressing.
Yeah, I mean, we talked a little bit about before you went out. You know, it is a both ends are totally different, and coming off the exit of 2, it gets a little tight. But I thought you did a great job, and we're super excited. Happy to have you here. It was fantastic meeting you and your mom, and we'll catch up with you again Saturday night, and we'll see you then.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Hey drivers, are you on DirtCrowd yet? It's actually been pretty cool. You get your own driver page where fans can support you one time or even monthly, and you keep 100% of the proceeds. They've already set up the support levels and you just customize them. You also get thank you cards, stickers, and hero cards with your QR code on them so fans can just scan and join. Support levels start as low as $5 a month. You can also earn by getting other drivers to visit your page and sign up under you. Join DirtCrowd today.
It's time to give a shout out to DirtCrowd drivers that parked it in Victory Lane over the weekend. First up, we got Jett Nunley, who won both the wing and non-wing division at Port City on Friday night, along with Levi Ballard, who also at Port City won the restrictor class. And then new DirtCrowd driver Brighton Bowie, who ended up going back-to-back. He won Friday night at Port City, and then followed that up Saturday night at I-44. So I want to give a shout out to all of them. Congratulations, guys. Great job. Next up in the crowd feature, we'd like to welcome new DirtCrowd driver, Charmaine Carey. Welcome to the platform, Charmaine. Great to have you. As always, we like to give a reminder to everybody out there. Please send us all the content you have, videos, photos, new sponsors. If you want to make it on the show, you got to send in content. Make sure to do that. You can send it to us at news@dirtcrowd.com. Again, really important you send all that to us. We'll get you on the show. Love seeing all the content and everybody getting involved. So make sure you hit us up and send us everything you got. So with that being said, we'll be out at Creek County Saturday night. So if you get a chance and you're out, come by and say hi. And we'll see you next time.